Thank you for joining me for Innate Astrology. We're going to look at the energy for the entire month of May and what it's going to be bringing in for us. I'm going to start with the tarot cards that came for the May energy. And I like to sit with them for a little bit after they come out. I just let them fall. I don't choose them. I just keep shuffling until I feel like it's time to stop with what I have. But I like to sit with them. I also use a scrying mirror and do candle work to receive any messages outside of the obvious messages that the cards hold. And when I was doing that, these are some of the messages that I got. When we're dealing with the transformation of relationships, which we all are right now, and we will continue to do so through May and June. But as our relationships with people, and it can be romantic or family, friends, career, anywhere where we are connecting with other people, as these relationships are transforming and we're building new ones, it's important that we pay attention to when we are trying to connect with someone. Say we're calling and offering up an invitation or trying to connect, and we're trying over and over again, and they're just not able, they're not getting back to us, they're not responding in a timely way. We need to keep in mind that that lack of response is a response. That is how we are being told by the universe that these people are not for us, that they are moving in a different direction, and we need to just let it go. There's no need for big fanfare or endings or conversations. If they're not connecting with you, they're not putting out the effort, then it's time to move away from that. Go where the energy is, where people respond to you. And I don't mean, of course, if people are busy working or they have situations going on in their life. Everyone's going through big transformations, big changes right now. So I don't mean that when people aren't able to connect with you or take you up on invitations because their life is incredibly busy or a lot is going on and changing at the moment. I mean, when we consistently put out our energy to people and they just simply don't make it a priority or show interest in it. And we can usually feel the difference between the two. And like I said, keep in mind, right now, everyone is going through major transformations. Big upheavals in their life are possible. Career changes, relationship changes. So much is happening, so much energy that we have to keep in mind people may not be responding to us simply because they are overwhelmed. And we have to consider that and give them support and space that they may need. Now, another message that I received was that many of us are going to be experiencing a returning theme that could be, depending on your age, from 30 years ago, like a Saturn return or a second Saturn return, something that may be from 18 years ago when the nodes were last in these signs of Taurus and Scorpio, or from 12 years ago when Jupiter started the transit around the zodiac that it's finishing up, that it just finished when it moved into Aries. Now, there may be something that was started then, or even something that was put on hold that now is either ending, if it was something you started, and transforming into something else, or if it was something that might have been put on hold, it's now returning for right time, right place, restart. So it depends on your age, of course, but keep tuned into circumstances, especially with relationships and people and jobs that have a relevance to 30, 18, or 12 years ago that may be surfacing again during this time. Also, as we are moving through all this energy in May, keep in mind that we may come across something in regards to whatever is changing, what we're looking to change in our lives, what we're looking to transform. And it's different for all of us. We tend to know what we can feel is coming up for a big change or transition. Whatever aspect that's happening in your life, if you are offered something within those aspects of your life that are changing that seems to be terrible and just not up to par, keep in mind that you need to go deeper into understanding it. Dig deep and look into it, which this Scorpio full moon's lunar eclipse will help us do. But look into it. There's a diamond in the rough there. There's something underneath that's of value that you're not seeing on the surface. Now, that could be in people. That could be in a job offer. If you are perhaps moving, you may see a place that looks just not much from the outside. But if you take a little time to look further into it, you'll find that there's something there that's very, very much of value to what you are wanting to change in your experience, what you're wanting to move towards. So those were the messages that I received as I sat with the cards and just kind of listened. I like to listen to what they are telling me and see what comes in outside of the general message. Keep in mind as we go over the tarot cards and talk about the energy of May that the foundational energy is of receiving, receiving information, receiving intuition, receiving clarity, receiving offers, receiving new opportunities. As we move towards the end of the month, we will move into an energy that will be about taking action more. But for the first 3 weeks, we are receiving what we need to know in order to get clear on the best way to move forward and on decisions that we need to make. So sit back and let the universe bring you all the things that you need, all the components to move forward on these transitions and changes and towards what we are wanting in a way that is most beneficial for you. And be ready, as we'll talk about with the cards, to receive the information and take action at the end of the month and into June. Be ready to make a choice. Be willing to take the help that's brought to you by the universe and use it to move towards what you're wanting. You're going to be releasing fear and insecurities and doubts with that Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. Okay, let's take a look at the tarot cards. We're going to start on the top row. The 2 cards on the left are oracle cards we're going to leave for the end. Now, the first card is Moon in Libra, which we do have the full moon in Scorpio solar eclipse on May 5th. Now, just before that, of course, will be Moon in Libra. And there's a lot of energy this month that is, well, and has been through April and even March, that has been about really looking at our relationships and commitments to others and how they affect us, be it positive or negative, and how these interactions with others do or do not support what we want to move towards in our life. Now, this moon card, this moon in Libra, it says avoid making serious decisions and instead focus on creating harmony within your relationships. And that is very much what Venus in Gemini and Mercury in Taurus has been helping us reevaluate, is what relationships in our lives create harmony and which relationships do not. And how can we either transform those or release them in order to create relationships that support harmony and well-being and our authenticity as well as we begin to move into this new experience that we want to create. Now, the energy of the month is a wait for action and receive energy. So we're looking to receive the information we need to be able to make a balanced and well-structured decision on the direction we need to move in. Now, the Rebirth, Guardian, and Magic card all support that quite well, because this is the first full moon of May is the Ides of May celebration for the moon goddess Diana, and that is representative of cleansing for new growth and for new beginnings. It's about allowing change. So these cards support that energy quite well. It is a time to rebirth relationships and how they're structured, how we interact within them. The Guardian card is telling me that these energies that we have that are sextile and trine energies, as well as some of the energies that are squares, the sextile and trine, those energies are helping make our transitions and our decisions easier, helping us with the flow of information, whereas the squares prevent us from acting hastily, from getting overly emotional and making a decision in that manner that we may later regret or need to change. So with the Guardian card, it's reminding us that the energies that are working for us in the universe are very balanced. They're going to help us not make rash judgments or decisions based only in emotions that may be very intense with a Scorpio full moon, but instead let us take in the information, process it, and move forward with it until the time for action is right, which will come towards the end of the month and into June. Now, the Magic card, that's our Uranus energy that's involved with the North Node and Mercury and Taurus. Uranus Uranus presents us with those magic moments that suddenly change everything, that solve all our problems at once, that give us the means by which we can make the transition that we are hoping to make, that we need to make. Now, the second row is the Void of Course Moon, which is missing. Escape partners and start reclaiming who you truly are. That energy is all over May. It has been all over April as well. Many of us may find that, as I mentioned in the video about May, that we are revisiting something that started possibly 12 years ago. Very likely could be relationships. It could have been career choices. But there's an energy of being able to rewind that in a way and start over at that place in our life and restructure it this time in a better way, now that we know more about who we are and what we really need. We may be, it could be about relationships, and that started when Jupiter began this transit around the zodiac, which was 12 years ago. Some of us may find that we put ourselves, or chose to take part, Mercury retrograde, take part in situations and circumstances, whether they be romantic, our career, friendships, perhaps environments that we chose to be part of, that stifled who we really are. Maybe who we are has been missing, and we are finally getting a chance to release ourselves from that. there is a lot of karmic energy in the month of May, a lot of release of karmic energy, especially with the Scorpio full moon, so lunar eclipse. There's quite a bit of energy supporting finally being done with something that was a karmic lesson. And many people that I've spoken to in the last 10 to 12 years in regards to their charts have mentioned that they felt like around that time they made choices or inadvertently became involved in circumstances or relationships that very much made them feel as if they were not themselves, or that their authenticity was in some way stifled or held back by these circumstances, whether it was a person or a job or an environment they were in, but that they just felt like who they really were was being caged and inhibited. And I think this energy is about being able to release whatever that is that has been holding us back. And as the card says, start reclaiming who we truly are and release ourselves from whatever that was that we chose or stepped into inadvertently around 12 years ago that really has not allowed us to move forward in a way that supports what we truly want or our authenticity. Now in the bottom row we have the key and the birds. The key, of course, is the answer. That's the solution to problems. That's what opens the door to what we want to move towards, what we want to create. And the birds, that's communication. With the Knight of Swords here, that could very much be intuition. We need to, with the other energies that are involved, we very much need to pay attention to synchronicities and our intuition. It's going to be very, very loud and clear, as I talked about through the month of May, especially towards the end. It's hard sometimes to separate what is the worry and anxiety of dealing with a lot of transformation or things that we know we have to move through and out of. But just remember that intuition is just there. It's calm and it's quiet and it feels comfortable. It even may feel familiar, and it's just there in your mind. You feel it. Anxiety and stress presents itself in a way that's loud and overwhelming and confusing and interrupts your ability to focus. So remember to breathe and take some time for yourself so you can listen to that intuition. Now the birds can also represent conversations, which with the Venus and Mercury energy that we have, we could very much find ourselves having, well, Uranus as well involved in that, having faded conversations, as I've mentioned before, meeting someone or just having a random discussion that brings us the information that we needed, the solution to our problem, the answer, the way out, the way in. It could bring whatever that is that's missing in that Void of Course Moon card in a conversation that's just unexpected and out of the blue, just like it could be intuition that's out of the blue. Now the Knight of Swords also represents being poised and ready, and we have the choice card after that. So as we listen to this information that's coming in and we process it, when we know we have that moment where the answer has come, and you will feel it, you will know. But as this information comes in, we have to be ready to use it. We have to be ready to make the choice as we get the answer, as we get the solution. We can't just say, oh, okay, that's what I need to do, or that's how I do it, and then not implement it. We have to be ready to make the choice, ready emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. We have to, and it may be something that's difficult. but we have to be ready to use what we're given to make the choice that allows us to move forward. Now, the ice card, the top left oracle card, that is that feeling of being shut out, of being stuck, unable to move towards what we want. And with the star ancestors below it, it says hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper, which is exactly what the other cards and the energy of this month are telling us, that if we will listen, what we need will come. We need to look at things clearly. We need to trust our feelings and our intuition and what we need to know in order to move towards what we are wanting, or move out of, or move through what is inhibiting us. The solution will come. We have to trust ourselves and we have to listen. We have to be patient, not make any rash decisions, and be careful about letting our emotions get the best of us. So keep that in mind. Take the time to stay calm. Trust yourself and trust that the universe is going to tell you exactly what you need to know. And it's all in a very positive light to move you towards what you are wanting to create. Okay, let's take a look at the energy for the month of May. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is an energy of receiving. We are going to be receiving information, clarity, direction, guidance, opportunities, sudden blessings from the universe. So it's not really time to take action unless you fully, really feel compelled. And again, though, there will be things mid-month that begin to come to light with the new moon in Taurus that are really things we need to see and understand before we make decisions. The last part of May, the last week, is really when we start to take action and start to move. So just keep that in mind. We have, in the beginning, we start the month with a stellium that is the North Node, Uranus, Jupiter, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and also Estrella, Sedna, Vesta, and Juno, all in Taurus. Wow. Now the Sun is in Taurus until the 21st of May. Then it will move into Gemini. Now Pluto is retrograde and will be basically sitting still at the beginning of Aquarius, which is allowing us, in regards to collaborations, other people, connections, that's giving us time to move through this energy of May and part of June before it retrogrades back into Capricorn, where we can restructure with our new information, our new connections, our new goals, and our new direction. When it retrogrades back into Capricorn until January of 2024, we can take the new information that we've gathered, the new connections, the new ideas, the new direction, the new desires, and we can restructure, rebalance, learn to remanage with these new tools that we have. Capricorn is all about management, government, and in this regards of ourselves, of our lives, of this new path that we are moving into. So Pluto's going to wait in Aquarius. Let us make our new connections, get clarity, make some decisions, and then it will retrograde back into Capricorn, where we can learn to work with this new energy that we're getting and restructure, rebuild, learn to remanage with our new tools. So now it is also, May 1st is Beltane, which is a celebration of the light and life and fertility in all aspects. Fertile new friendships, connections, job opportunities. It can refer to your finances. So All of this comes together with the energy that's working in the universe to really create a very fertile opportunity for us to get some much needed information, clarity, new connections, ideas and directions about how we can move forward on the changes we know we need to make in the most prosperous way. Now, let's see, on the 4th, we have Venus in Gemini and Jupiter in Aries, which, Aries, Gemini, I believe that is going to, don't be overly enthusiastic, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, about connections you may be making. It can really bring in some very positive and beneficial, lucky connections with people. However, with Jupiter, things are always bigger and expansive, sometimes too much. So just be careful that you're not getting too enthusiastic about either an opportunity or some connection you've made before you see all of what it is made of. So just keep that in mind for the first few days of May. Now let's see. Also with Pluto retrograde, I received an energy of perhaps with that Pluto retrograde for some people, we may find ourselves returning. Perhaps we lost part of ourselves or aspects of ourselves. As I mentioned in the tarot reading, there's very much a feeling of karmic experiences, which this Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse is very much about karmic releasing. There is an energy here of being involved in either getting involved in a job or possibly relationships, be it romantic or friendship or commitments, in the last 12 years or so that perhaps have stopped us from being who we are, made us feel like we lost ourselves. And this Pluto retrograde and then Jupiter going retrograde on the 16th, I believe that, yeah, on the 16th. I think I get the energy of, for a lot of us, of coming back to who we really are, getting ourselves back, returning to our authenticity and being able to express that and letting go of the things that were stifling that were somehow holding us back from that. Now, on the 5th of May, we have this Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse at 14 degrees. Now, 14 degrees is a Taurus degree. So this is very much about what we value, our self-value, our self-worth, our literal financial value, what we have as our own, our things in Taurus versus other people's things in Scorpio. It is an emotional energy because it is Scorpio and the full moon. The full moon in rituals in the past has been about pulling in the power of that full moon, that strength to finish off a cycle that we need to release and then have the strength to begin the new cycle. Now it lasts for around 90 days. It is a fixed sign, so what we are finishing up, what we're culminating and releasing and transforming, could have a lot of very emotional ties to it. It could be as simple as leaving a home you've lived in for a while that has a lot of connection for you, where you cry a few tears that are to say goodbye, but happy tears for the new things that you're moving into that are exciting and fit who you are better. Of course, it can be relationships. There's very much a relationship energy in this. Just remember that as we are moving towards what we really want for ourselves, moving towards building the life that we want to experience, there are always people that cannot move forward with us. They're not part of that. And as hard as it is, we need what fits our new life to support us. And that's why we're having this Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse at this time. That energy is here to allow us to move through the emotions of change, to feel them, to appreciate what we have had, and appreciate what we're moving towards that is better for us. This full moon lunar eclipse is here to help us release that, to let it go and not carry with us any desire to go back to what no longer fits, what is comfortable and familiar. We all have that. That seems to be a human tendency to be a little afraid of the new things and want to stay with what's comfortable even if it doesn't fit. So that's why this energy is coming in with all the other things that are happening in the planets that are moving us towards change. This full moon allows us to feel and experience and move through it and release it. There will be a video solely about the Scorpio full moon, just a couple of days. I'm going to get that up hopefully tomorrow if Mercury retrograde will cooperate with me. Now, a little bit more on the Scorpio full moon. This empowers. This is about wishes granted, releasing the past that's holding us back. It puts us, an eclipse is meant to help move us back to our path if we have strayed from it. It reveals and gives us clarity on the direction we need to move towards. Now this full moon in May is known as the Ides of May. It is a celebration of Diana, the goddess of the hunt and the moon. And it is meant for cleansing, for new growth, and allowing change that brings us to our new beginning. So it is very fitting that it would be now for us with all the other energies that are going on that are supportive of that. If you are curious, the excuse me, the stone associated with this Scorpio full moon is topaz. If that's a stone you like, having a piece of that with you can help you move through all of this full moon energy that will be deeply emotional. Let's see, let me see what else we need to know about this for now. As I mentioned, there will be a video just for the Scorpio full moon to give you more information. Keep in mind that Mars will be in the moon's sign of Cancer while this full moon is happening. Now, they're both water signs, which can make emotions unclear and very much ebbing and flowing like water does. So focus on what do you want to change? What is it that you need to know about the direction you want to go in? What do you need to see clearly? Give your time to self time to feel the emotions that you're going to go through with this, and considering all that is coming at you. With Uranus involved, there is probably going to be a buildup and a very sudden change. But Uranus is in a positive energy in trines, so Uranus is saying, look, I know you've been wanting this, and it's difficult to get from where you are to where you need to be to have it. But if you will allow me, I'm going to just make it happen for you. And that's the big energy, is allowing, receiving, allowing the universe to step in and take care of all the problems, give you the answers, the solutions, just set you on the path that you're desiring, and move you to what you're wanting. It may not feel very comfortable. It may be frightening and overwhelming, and you may be unsure about, oh my gosh, how is all this going to come together? But if you will just remember to breathe and try to stay relaxed, give yourself some time alone if need be, or stay with people who you know are positively supportive of what you're going through. Give yourself time, take in the information, let yourself feel through it, and try to not panic or be overwhelmed with fear. It will all come together. There are energies here that are wanting to solve all the problems involved in whatever transition and change you're needing to make so that it can be done smoothly. I'm facing that myself. Some big transitions that are, if I didn't know the energy that was moving about in the universe, I would be nervous and anxious and thinking, oh my goodness, how is all this going to come together? And I'd be overwhelmed. But I can see where, if I just move with it, let it flow, pay attention to intuition, to signs, to synchronicities, to connections, that it is all just going to be resolved for me. But often our fear and anxiety prevents us from working with that flow, and it becomes very unpleasant to make big transitions. So try to just know that it will come together and you will be shown what you need. Okay, we're going to move now to, let's see. Let me make sure that's all we need to know. Again, this full moon energy is being in Scorpio and Taurus on that axis. This is about your stuff, your desires, your needs and wants versus others' stuff, needs and wants. So there will be some transitions in regards to how those balance out in a way that is best for you. It is ruled by Mars and the Sun in the decan that it is in. You may experience, because of this full moon energy, this is very important, others may act in a very disruptive way. You may have people trying to force you to make decisions or choices that are not best for you, that are what they want, especially if you convey to someone a choice or decision or a direction you want to move in that's best for you, that does not support them or what they want. They could become very, very disruptive and manipulative even, very angry and aggressive. So keep that in mind, that it may be, if you can avoid talking about what your plans are or things that you want to do, changes you want to make, until the third week or so of May, because this full moon energy could have people responding very emotionally and in a very self-centered or even narcissistic way, where they try to convince you to do something other than what you know is best for you in regards to get them what they want. So just be aware that that energy is there. All of this is bringing it into things that have served their purpose in your life, whether they are material items, which it can be in Taurus, or connections, relationships, behavioral patterns even. But it is simply an end to what has served its purpose, and a rebalance so that you get clarity on what works better for you, what really gets you to where you want to be. Also, with this full moon in Scorpio energy, on that Taurus-Scorpio axis, we are dealing with, in Taurus, which is opposing this full moon, the material and tangible desires that we have And the full moon is powering up and illuminating the more esoteric and feeling side of what we want. It's helping us create a balance between the tangible things that we want in our life and that we want to create, and the emotional side of our life that perhaps wants us to hang on to things that simply have served their purpose and no longer suit this new tangible experience that we want to create. Now, on the 7th, Venus moves into Cancer just after this full moon, and it's going to trine Saturn. Now, that is a very... Saturn trining Venus in Cancer. Now, Venus, that's our pleasures, the things we want. That's our creativity. And in Cancer, it is very much about feeling safe in that. What makes us feel safe and nurtured? What gives us the feeling of home? What energy makes us feel at home? And, Cancer represents our private time, our home life, the people that, and experiences that are in that. Now, with it trining Saturn, we are able to get clarity on what needs to be released and restructured so that we can get that home experience, that energy of home and safety and nurturing in a way that brings us pleasure and joy and love through Venus. So that's a very positive energy to have right after a very emotional and powerful karmic releasing full moon in Scorpio with a lunar eclipse. Now the moon on the 8th will oppose Venus, and Venus will be squaring Neptune. Now Venus squaring Neptune, depending on, of course, all this depends on what's going on in your chart. This is very general energy that we'll all be feeling somewhere within our chart. And the aspects made to that area can affect how we experience the energy. Venus squaring Neptune. After a full moon, I will say that is Venus asking Neptune for intuitive insight, for deeper understanding, for clarity with our intuition. Some might say that could create a rose-colored glasses effect. I think really in the circumstances we have, this is where the moon, which is also our mind and our intuition, with Neptune, which represents deep, intuitive, spiritual knowing, with Venus there, we're looking to get clarity. We're asking for help with clarity and with being able to feel into our decisions and what we're experiencing so that we know we can trust our intuition and what's guiding us. And the moon opposing Venus in that, our feelings maybe are not connecting with what we're wanting. Our emotions are telling us that, well, we want these Venus things, this new tangible experience, but we're afraid to step into it, or we don't want to go through what we have to let go to get there. But that clarity and that courage will come, that it will come. Now, this is Mars will square Jupiter. Now, this is Jupiter saying, no, we're not taking action yet. Mars wants to take action, but Jupiter is saying, no action yet. Let's expand this. Let's look more. Let's get more knowledge. Jupiter is knowledge, experience, wisdom. So Jupiter's saying, no, don't move yet. There's more to know. Now, at the same time, this is still on 5/8. The North Node is going to trine the moon. North Node of Destiny. Creating synchronicities and luck and a positive energy with our emotions, the moon, and what we're thinking about. This helps us feel what's right for us and what isn't. It helps us feel into it like that Venus squaring Neptune, wanting clarity. Now on the, let's see, that's the 8th. Now on the 9th, as we move through that, we are going to start to get clarity on decisions we need to make. And then Pluto on the 11th is going to give us an energy of what are we done with? What are we just... Pluto, it's going to be opposite Mars, and Mercury's retrograde. So we're waiting to get more information and clarity. We're thinking it out and not making any emotional decisions. That's a big key here. With all these emotions going on with that Scorpio full moon, we don't want to make impetuous, sudden, emotionally based decisions that don't take us in the direction we actually want. We're waiting. We're looking at what are we really done with? What are we just absolutely emotionally, mentally, physically done with? We've had enough. What is that? And how do we need to move away from it? We're going to get clarity on how we move away from those things. Now, on the 12th, we're going to start to really, we're going to understand what needs to be done. We're going to recognize what we are done with, what is unhealthy, what's stopping us, what has served its purpose. And we're going to get clarity on what we need to do in regards to that. Let me check this. Okay, on the 15th, the 13th, okay. Now on the 13th, the moon and Saturn are conjunct. That's when we get a structured intellectual realization towards resolutions for what we're trying to change, what isn't working for us, and how we're going to move towards what we need to do, where we want to be. How we're going to change that. It's going to help balance our emotions. The moon and Saturn gives our emotions truth, realism, structure, lets us let go of emotions that might be stopping us from what we need to do. And on the 15th, let's see, Mercury goes direct. So again, we get a lot of mental clarity coming in. Now it's still in its shadow till the 31st, but with that, the moon being conjunct Saturn on the 13th, and then on the 15th, Mercury going direct, we're really going to get clarity in our information. Start to understand what all the intuitive messages and the synchronicities and signs and the little things that have been happening, we're going to start to put those together in a puzzle in a way that fits, and we go, aha, okay, I'm starting to see how this is going to work. Now on the 15th, the moon is conjunct Neptune. That's very intuitive. We can begin to take intuitive action and get very clear and strong clarity on our choices that need to be made and how we're going to structure that movement that we're going to take towards what we are wanting to change or needing to change. Before that, we may be, like I said, there may be feelings of overwhelmed and just so much is happening at once, or we don't see a path between where we are and where we need to get to, but that is coming mid-month. Just try to take in information, receive, and let it process as the planets move. And with Mercury direct, again, that's going to give us a lot of clarity and sudden, with Uranus there as well, sudden aha moments. This is how it's going to work. Also on the 15th, the moon is conjunct Chiron. We will get some clarity on what's unhealthy for us, metaphorically or literally. We're going to see what is just really, using an overly used word, toxic. Some toxic things in our life and how to remedy those. We're going to get knowledge on how to solve that, how to move away from that and release it so that it doesn't interfere with us moving in the direction we need to go for what we want to create. On the 16th, Jupiter is moving into Taurus. So, again, this is a very positive expansion of luck, of getting what we want, getting things that bring us pleasure, getting going in the direction, finding and understanding what we need in order to move in that direction of what we want. Jupiter in Taurus is going to also help us with how we see ourselves, our self-worth. We're going to start to realize how much value we really offer in all parts of our lives, not just to others, but for ourselves, what we really can accomplish. And again, Jupiter being knowledge and philosophy, we're going to get information. We're going to see and understand more and really expand our perception of what we're going through, the situations that we're facing that need transformation. We're going to be able to broaden our perspectives on that in a very tangible, Taurian way. And it's joy and it's pleasure and things that make us feel good. Jupiter's going to expand that too. So possibly a reprieve from all the stress or worry or things that may be coming up in your life that need to change. Jupiter and Taurus will help give us a little reprieve from that as well. Excuse me. Now, it is going to square Pluto. So that means we're not ready. Pluto says you're not ready yet to make that transformation. There's still too many emotions, and you don't want to overcommit. You don't want to be overzealous about things. You need to just, again, continue to take it all in and let the universe bring you all the things you need, all the components you need, and then help you make the change as we move later into the month. Let's see. There is on the 17th with that moon and Jupiter together. See, there's what's called a hidden aspect with Mars in Cancer. We're not really seeing everything, all the fine details yet, which are very important. So on the 19th, we have the new moon in Taurus, and that's when we're going to get the details. We're going to see, and we're going to be able to start really manifesting movement towards this change we're wanting to make. But we need that new moon on the 19th to come in first in Taurus so that we can see with clarity. That new moon in Taurus is at 25 degrees. That's an Aries degree. So it is about movement. It is about action. This is where we begin to see what we can do. We get the clarity. We're starting to assimilate all the information, and we can see how we're going to move towards this. Now, on the 20th, Mars opposes Pluto, so that's when Mars moves into Leo. Let's see. Excuse me. Now, Mars in Leo. Mars in Leo can be incredibly creative. It can be very passionate. It can give us the courage and the deep desire to just go for what it is we are wanting. This is where our courage comes in to make these transformations and to move through these changes that we're facing. This is where the courage and such a strong desire for what we really want helps set us free from the things that are holding us back. It helps us let go of the emotions of either fear, anxiety, or emotions that keep us tied to things that no longer work for us. Mars in Leo helps us let go of that and want what we want so much and be so passionate about it that we say, screw it, let's do it. We lose our fear. So as that happens, that is the 20th, we start to get into that energy of, yes, you know what, I'm going to do it. Even if I'm scared, I'm going to do it. And with Pluto opposing Mars as it moves into Leo, Pluto makes us see the truth. It is very real. Pluto wants reality in everything. It wants us to be passionate about our life and what we are creating. So with that very passionate, fearless energy of Mars and Leo, now it can be over dramatic. Watch out for that. Mars and Leo can be too much drama, too much me. But I think with the other energies playing in, especially like Pluto being in opposition, it'll keep that curtailed. This is more about getting the courage and the passion and such a strong desire to make change that we're no longer fearful of it, that we're ready to do it. Even if it feels tough, we're ready. And as soon as the universe says, here's what you need, it's go time, we go. We don't hesitate. So that's what Mars and Leo opposing Pluto is going to do for us. And Pluto's going to show us the truth of how to do it. It's going to make sure everything is very real and very solid, and that we also cannot go back. Pluto and Saturn both creates energy that does not allow us to turn back, get scared, turn back, and go to what is not working. So in this case, Pluto and Saturn both are very positive energies that help us move forward, not go back to what has not been working for us. Now on the 21st, the sun moves into Gemini, and the moon will trine Saturn as the sun moves into Gemini. That is great clarity of mind on what is very realistic choices and structure in these transformations. That is it, and it's with a square to Neptune at 9 degrees, which is the Sagittarian degree. That is very deeply intuitive knowledge and clarity that what we are doing is for us. What we are feeling, we can trust it. And with that Mars into Leo, passion and desire, it's a lot of reassurance. It is the sun illuminating Gemini, which is about intellect and the mind and taking in information and giving out information. There is a lot of clarity and solidity and reality in the information we're going to receive, and in trusting our intuition, as well as being able to speak to others in a way that is realistic, that says what we need to say, where we can be heard, where we are able to set boundaries, make decisions, and not be in a position where other people are trying to control our decisions because what is best for us does not suit them. Remember that energy from the full moon in Scorpio. Now, at the same time, we're going to have Mercury that has gone direct, sextiling. Sextile is a very pleasant, happy energy that says, here's what you wanted. It is going to sextile Saturn and Uranus, and that is sudden solutions that are very real and very doable and solid in structure, so they're meant to stand the test of time. So on the 21st is a big day as the sun moves into Gemini. There's a lot of moments of here you go, here's the answer, aha moments, epiphanies, and sudden solutions to problems. Just there's what you need to make it happen, whatever you're facing in regards to transition and transformation. At the same time, on the 21st, Mars, Pluto, they're in opposition. Again, the action that we take, the decisions, they're going to be permanent and they're going to be real. They're going to be for us, for our best interest, for our path that we want to move down, for what is right for us. And again, that can bring us to a place where people push to get us to do what suits them, or they may leave our life because what is best for us no longer works for them. So let that release. Let yourself release that and do what's best for you so that you are creating the life that you want, and let others come in that support that new life, that help you create that new life. Keep in mind, Mercury is retrograde for a reason. We're meant to zip it, take in information, receive, take it in, process it. Mercury is retrograde to help us relearn things about ourselves, about how we communicate, about circumstances we're in, situations, environments, and people. We're meant to see what those things really are. We are getting the information we need, listening instead of talking while Mercury's retrograde, and relearning the truth about our current situation. So, there is a reason for everything that happens in the heavens if we are aware of what it's doing for us. And all of this energy is about allowing. Now, you don't have to go with what the energy is offering you. You always have the choice. Changes will happen whether we work with the energy or we push against it. If we understand the energy and what it's trying to help us do, it makes those changes a lot easier. So listen, receive, zip it. Let the universe show you the truth and show you what is really for you, what you need, what you want, and how to get there. All of this energy is about the universe saying, you're here and you want to be over here. There is a big space between those two places. Let me make things fall together and show you how you're going to get there. Let me give you the answers. If you will allow it, this will happen. So keep that in mind. That's the hardest part for me is, and it's all in divine timing. It's just in the nick of time. It never fails. That's the hardest part for me is knowing all the things that I'm facing and all the obstacles that seem insurmountable and just relaxing and letting it play out, letting it come together for me instead of trying to control it and messing it up. The universe will bring it all together in just a nick of time if we trust and we pay attention to what's being offered. Okay, let's see. We are on the 22nd. Okay. Let me check my notes here. All right. On the 22nd, the moon is conjunct Venus in Mercury retrograde is trying to tie my tongue in a knot. Let me try that again. The moon and Venus are conjunct in Cancer. Now again, Cancer is about our foundation, our safety, our home, that place or energy that makes us feel safe, where we have our privacy, where we can relax and be ourselves, where we go to take refuge from the day. Now, the moon and Venus being conjunct there, that's going to give us, first of all, a lot of intuitive information about what we really need. We're going to feel it. You can have a lot of up and down emotions. Generally, Venus with the moon creates very pleasant emotions. So I wouldn't expect that it would be negative, but we could be feeling a lot of emotions about what we want for our home energy, our safe place energy. We could really be emotionally desiring it because of Mars being in Leo. You know, that energy I mentioned on the 20th of being ready, of having enough of the old and being so desirous of the new, wanting the new so badly that we no longer fear making the change. That moon and Venus conjunction in Cancer can give us a very calm but powerful emotional feeling about being ready for this. As the tarot card showed, you know, once the universe says, okay, here's what you want and here's how to get there, we've got to be ready to make that choice. We've got to be ready to move. Now on the 23rd, the sun is squaring Saturn. And that's illuminating what you need to do. That's going to illuminate that information that the universe is giving you, showing you how. That's going to show you what it's going to take to move from where you are to where you want to be, to make this transition that's coming in your life. And I don't say that lightly because I've got a big one. I think I've got some several very big transitions coming, and I'm very curious and trying to stay very calm and flow with this energy to see how it all plays out. Now that is going to trine Pluto. Now trine, again, that is synchronicity, that is luck, that is an epiphany of this is the solution. This is how it really works. That's Pluto, reality, and permanent solutions. So on the 23rd, we have those moments that begin to show us how it's all going to come together. Also, when the sun moves into Gemini, keep in mind, now that was on the 21st, keep in mind that it always activates both ends of that axis. So Gemini and Sagittarius both are going to feel a shift in the energy, that forward movement. We're all going to feel it in the Gemini and Sagittarius areas of our chart, as well as where we have Taurus. We were going to be feeling that right up until the sun moves into Gemini. So when it moves into Gemini, it really is going to activate the Gemini and Sagittarius areas of our chart, wherever that may be, whatever house that's in. And that's where we're going to really get those bits of information and clarity. Those solutions are going to come to us from those areas of our life. Now let me move through in my notes here. Also, one other thing about the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse, that is the culmination of desires and plans, intentions, things you want, things you would like to change, things you want to move towards. From October 25th of last year in 2022, that was the Scorpio new moon. And of course, that's when we begin something, or the thinking, the planning, the desire of. We begin it on the new moon in a sign, and we finish it on the full moon of the sign. And that's where the power comes in from the full moon to make it happen. It culminates. So think back to October 25th, around there of last year in 2022, about the things you were really wanting, the changes you wanted to make, what you wanted to move towards, what you felt was no longer working for you. Those are the things that are going to start to move and change for you. Now on the, let's see, on the 23rd, we have that Moon and Venus conjunction. Now that's sextiling Uranus. Sextile energy, happy, backyard barbecue, everybody's good. And Uranus says, oh, Mercury retrograde. Thanks, I hate it. The sextile energy, Uranus is saying within this sextile energy with the Moon and Venus, this is what you wanted, right? Here it is. Here's how it's going to happen. Here's what we're going to do. And that is trining Pluto, trine again, destiny, luck, synchronicity, everything coming together. That's trining Pluto, and Pluto's going, okay, we're going to make it real, and we're going to make it last. This is what we're going to do to make what you are wanting happen for you in a way that is for your highest good, that creates what you really want. Now watch for overenthusiasm. Jupiter's here, Jupiter makes things a little too big sometimes. You have to be calm, balanced, use your mind and your emotion, your intuition, your intellect. Make balanced decisions. See clearly. Stop, step back, breathe, clear your mind. Look at things realistically. Make sure they are as they seem. But with the trine and sextile energy and all the intuitive support here, I am sure that we will have perfect clarity on what we are experiencing and the information we're being given on how to move into what we are wanting to change. Now the North Node is also square Mars. And that's destiny saying, hey, Mars, it's time to move. Let's go. but it's asking for action and movement in a way that serves our destined path. That's supporting that energy of making decisions and knowing what moves to make in a way that puts us on our path, that puts us where we should be, that prevents us from making the wrong decision, or not choosing what is best for our true path that we want to create. Now, on the 24th, Leo and the moon will both be in Mars. Now, that will be squaring, that will be a moon at 8 degrees, Virgo. Very analytical, separating the valuable from what is not, getting very real, organized. Now that's the 24th. Now Mercury retrograde. Leo and the Loon, are together in Mars, and they are squaring Mercury in the North Node, Mercury now being direct in Taurus. Okay. Taurus is the things we want. It's our pleasures. It's our dream life. It's the things that bring us joy. Mars is action, moving towards that. Mars and the moon, our emotions are wanting to move. We're wanting to get with it and go towards this thing that we want. And it's putting pressure with North Node and Mercury in the house of our value, our experience, our pleasures, what we want for ourselves. And saying, okay, it's time to move. Let's do this. Let's gather it up. Now it can be emotions from others as we say, okay, we're doing this. This is what we want. This is what I want individually. This is what's good for me. This is what I need, and I'm going to do it. We could get emotions from others that are not good, over dramatic responses to our decision, to our choices, to our actions. It could have others really showing us who they are and whether they do or do not support what we truly want and need for ourselves, the path that we want to take, the moves that we want to make. So on the 24th, we're going to be very analytical with our emotions. We're going to be able to see what is of value to us and what is not. And we may see the truth in some people and circumstances with very unexpected emotional responses when we begin to let people know what we are going to do. And it will show us, again, who is supporting our well-being and who is not, as well as circumstances that do and do not support that. Now, at the same time, on the 24th, Chiron is square Venus. That helps us heal. That helps us set the boundaries with these people or circumstances that may be responding badly to our decisions and choices that are best for us, that try to inhibit our changes and our forward movement. This is going to help us set boundaries that preserve our well-being, that prevent others and circumstances from interfering with us choosing what is best for us and making a forward movement to that. Now on the 25th, the sun sextiles Mars. Again, the sun says, let me illuminate this for you. Let me energize it. And Mars says, let's do it. And that is the courage to stand firm against those who might be trying to inhibit our positive forward movement. It helps us stand firm on those boundaries we're setting with others, on the decisions that we are making that are for our own needs and desires. Now that's square Saturn, and that allows us to release these things in people that are not supporting our decisions. They're not supporting the movement that we know we need to make for ourselves. It helps us release those people and circumstances in a way that is less emotional, that's more based in knowing that we have to, first of all, do what is best for ourselves. Now the moon will square Uranus at 7 degrees, and that is 7 degrees, Libra, others, our relationships. Uranus is going to say to our mind and emotions, it's time. If you want this thing that I'm going to give you, that I'm handing to you, that I'm helping you attain, you have to let go of these people and circumstances that are trying to interfere with it, that are trying to hold you back, that are unhealthy for you, that do not support this new path, this new experience that is best for you, that's what you really want. And Mercury is going to sextile Saturn. The communications will be there. You'll be able to say what you need to say firmly, with kindness, but firmly and clearly. You'll be able to know the information you receive, that it is clear, that it is real, and you'll be able to process it in a way that allows you to see things for what they truly are. Now Venus will also be sextiling Uranus, and that creates a positive change. Uranus says, okay, this is what you have to let go of these things. Saturn says, we got to get rid of this and this. If you want what you've been asking for, I'm going to give it to you. But you're going to have to let go of these things that don't support it, that are trying to hold you back, that are bringing in negative emotions and experiences in regards to the change you want. And Uranus says, okay, if you want it, here it is, but you've got to choose what is for you over what others want you to do for them. Now Jupiter will also be squaring Pluto at that time, and that keeps it very real. That keeps the conversations real, the information, the knowledge. It lets you know that you are making the right decision for yourself. And it keeps others real so that you know who is going to move forward with you and who is not, as well as circumstances and commitments. What can move forward with you and what must be let go of in order for you to move into what you want to create for yourself. And that energy flows through the end of the month. So, again, first half of the month especially, listen, receive, allow, take in information, let the universe show you the reality of people and experiences, commitments, environments, and let it show you what you actually need, what is good for you. And then allow it to set up all of the components in a way that you can just flow through a transition that seems very big and ominous and overwhelming. If you allow the energies to work within your life, you stay open, you pay attention, you take in the information, keep the emotions level, let the universe set it up for you. And then as the month moves into the last couple of weeks, you'll begin to understand what will be done, how it will be done, how it will come together. You'll be able to let go of any worries or fears and be so ready for the change you want to happen that you're no longer afraid. And people and circumstances, environments, all of that, again, is going to show you what it truly is. And you've got to be ready to let go of what cannot move forward with you. So it's a big month. It's a very positive month, though. It is getting us on the path we have always meant to be on, the path we want, into the experience that we want. Change is never easy. It can always be scary. But if we just flow with these energies, it's all going to come together. It's always last minute, like I mentioned, which makes it even scarier, but it will come together. Let it come together for you. I hope that the information will help you do that and help you move through the month with an excited, positive anticipation for how things will change and play out for you. and move you into an experience that is more fitting for who you truly, authentically are. And that's going to make you realize that you are on your path. You are where you should be. And creating the life that you actually want. That's what all of this energy is for. It's giving us that opportunity to create what we truly want for ourselves. And that begins with authenticity. So there will be more videos about these specific transits during the month coming out in the next few days. I hope you'll join me for those. And again, thank you for joining me always for the videos. And I hope that you find exactly what you're looking for, what you're wanting as we move through these energies. I know I'm hoping that for myself, and I see it coming together, and I think that all of us are headed in that direction. Thanks again.